Today is Thursday, August 14th, 2025. And yes, it is 10 p.m. right now. I understand I am late once again, but what's new? But today I am up 0.45% today after a very volatile day, actually. In the pre-market, I was up a little bit, then it dipped down, then it went right back up, went right back down, and then it finished slightly up. So lots of volatility today. And of course, my Roth IRA is down over 3% today. And this is on a day where the NASDAQ is slightly down, but basically flat. And of course, as always, I give you guys a quick update of my transactions. I don't think there's anything new to update you guys on. I'm pretty sure I covered the two cover calls that I closed out in the last video. And I think that's all I did so far. But in terms of my top performers or my top stocks performances, Robinhood is the standout today, up over 1.5%. Nike is down, Palantir is down, Pepsi, the Pepsi's just being Pepsi. Honest is down, RPX is down, SoFi is down, PayPal is down. My REIT, of course, is flat, kind of green. And I've noticed that whenever there's lots of volatility going on, some of my higher yielding stocks tends to either be flat or slightly up. So Pepsi, it is down, but it's kind of flat because it's one of those like quote unquote stable dividend payers. And of course, MAA is a smaller, lesser known REIT, but it does have a high dividend yield. So it's kind of like quote unquote stable. But now we get to today's standouts. Bitcoin was actually down over 3% today, which is very strange because Robinhood, as one of my viewers commented in the previous video, Robinhood somehow is up on a day where the NASDAQ is slightly down flat and Bitcoin is down over 3%. Somehow Robinhood is up, even though a stock technically cannot go up forever. Like eventually it has its cool off periods, it has its corrections and whatnot. It's just so hard to bet against Robinhood when it shows this much resilience, on a day when the NASDAQ is flat, slightly down, and Bitcoin is down over 3%. But another thing that I've noticed recently that is, I don't want to say suspicious because now I'm going to seem like a conspiracy theorist. Maybe I am a conspiracy theorist, I don't know. But have you guys noticed that whenever you look up Robinhood or the ticker Robinhood, there's no bearish ETF, like how Palantir, I believe there are multiple bear ETFs. We'll just pull it up right now. Yeah, like PLTZ. I've never really heard of this one, but this is just one example of a bearish Palantir ETF. And I'm not saying that the market is purposely doing this or the company is purposely doing this or whatever. I'm not trying to, throw any conspiracies out there, but I just think it's a little bit suspicious that Robinhood doesn't have a bearish ETF yet, which possibly could be, not possibly, but it probably is a contributing factor of its like tremendous performance and its strength. But anyways, to move on from Robinhood, Nubank actually reported earnings today, and the stock market liked what they heard. Apparently, the stock was under $12 earlier today. I believe the Saudis actually sold their position in Nubank. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was just a headline that I saw. So the stock was down a little bit today, but it went right back up over 10% on the earnings pump. And yeah, I guess I missed out. I only have a little bit of shares, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. Kohl's was actually up 3% today, but I'll kind of touch on the clothing stocks a little bit later because I kind of wanted to talk about them like all as a group, and you'll see why. But Kava once again making my list of today's standouts. This stock, it just can't catch a break, to be honest. And to finally get to the topic, or the main topic I wanted to talk about today, which is some of the clothing stocks. Kohl's was actually up 3% today, which is a standout because American Eagle was down over 5% today. Levi's is down over 1%. VFC basically flat, but that stock goes up and down every day like it's nothing. And of course, Nike down over 1.5%, Lulu slightly down, and Burberry, I mean, that stock does its own thing because it's a foreign stock. But seeing how resilient Kohl's stock price is on a day like today when other clothing stocks are getting a little bit beaten down, really just gives me a lot more confidence that there really is going to be another short squeeze here in the near future. Obviously, I don't have a position on it in my main Robinhood account, but as I've said in previous videos, I do have a little bit of call options on these clothing stocks. If tomorrow or next week ends up being red, I possibly could double down on my position. I'm not sure. I'm trying to reserve a lot of my cash just to be safe going into 2026 and 2027. But who knows? I mean, maybe I'll buy more of the stock, even though I have a little bit of it in my separate accounts away from my main Robinhood brokerage. But yeah, I do see a potential for Kohl's stock to go through a little bit of a short squeeze here. Now, Levi's is a stock that I don't really talk about too much, and I'll admit it's not really one that gets talked about a lot in the retail community on X, on YouTube, or whatever. It's mainly Kohl's, Nike, and American Eagle, and a little bit of Lulu. But mainly it's Kohl's, American Eagle, and Nike that I see people talking about. But I actually wanted to say something about Levi's, even though the likelihood of someone that works at Levi's actually watching this video is very low. I still feel like it should be said. I have placed a order online off of the Levi's website earlier this year, and my experience was not good at all. Levi's has an e-commerce problem, and the order that I placed earlier this year, I didn't even get the correct order delivered to my house. Like it wasn't even men's clothing. Literally, I ordered, I think it was a pair of jeans, a belt. So I ordered all these men's clothing, but what came to my door was like a whole bunch of little girl clothes, like little girl Levi's, whatever. And I asked the lady in the store about it, and she's like, yeah, we've actually had this problem a lot, and we get a lot of people coming to the store asking if they can return it or whatever. But for some reason, Levi's doesn't accept returns in store, which is kind of weird, because it's, in my opinion, it's just so much more efficient to make returns at the store and then just get your correct product right there. But I digress. So I go through that whole refund process, and I don't even think they ended up sending me the right item. They just sent me a refund. So I was like, okay, whatever. And then recently, I think it was last week, I placed another order for a pair of jeans. And these jeans are actually pretty expensive. I'm not trying to flex on y'all, but they're Japanese jeans that are almost $200. And on the website, it says no refunds, no returns, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to end up liking them anyway, so I don't really have to worry about the whole return thing, whatever. And I order it, and the correct jeans do show up at my door, but it's the wrong size. Now, lucky for me, it wasn't like a super small size. It's slightly bigger, but it's not super big to where I just can't even wear it comfortably. So it's not too big of a deal, but it's still inconvenient, because I order a specific size for a pair of jeans that are almost $200, and it's the completely wrong size that shows up. So I think obviously the stock could definitely see a rally if Kohl's starts going through that short squeeze and American Eagle joins in. And then, of course, Nike and VFC and Lulu, I'm sure they'll join the party too. So I'm sure Levi's will join that party if it does happen. But fundamentally, like, if somebody working at Levi's is somehow watching this video, like, you guys need to fix your e-commerce, man. Like, it is so trash. First of all, allow returns in store. That is like the first step. And number two, I don't know who fulfills your orders in the back end at the warehouses, whatever, but at least make sure it's the right item. All right, but enough of that rant. The second company that I wanted to talk about relating to clothing is actually Nike. And it's not just Nike, it's also another company that's actually a holding company, and it's ticker symbol CODI. So Compass Diversified, I believe, It's a holding company, and they own brands like BOA. I don't know if you guys have seen the BOA boots before, but you like twist it and it tightens it up. I've never owned one, but I've heard good things about it. And of course, they also own the 511 brand. But the reason why I'm talking about this company right now is not because I think it's a buy. I am not touching this stock at all. This company has a lot of issues, but I think it would be interesting if Nike were to buy some of the brands or some of the companies that is under this umbrella company, and in the process of doing so, snag up some of those patents. And the two that I have in mind are the two that I just mentioned, BOA and 511. I think it would be interesting if Nike were to look into those two brands and see if there's a deal to be made there. Like I said, the likelihood of somebody working at Nike watching this video is slim to none, but I just, thought I'd throw this out there just as an idea, because I am a Nike shareholder. It's my number 2 position, and I think it would be interesting if they bought BOA while also getting that patent and buying the 511 brand, which is actually a pretty popular brand with I want to say like military, first responders. They sell a lot of like tactical stuff. They have those 511 pants that are pretty popular. They sell like bags, backpacks, and like survival type stuff, I want to say. Speaking of first responders, I don't know if you guys hear the sirens in the background. Good timing. But yeah, I think it would be interesting if Nike looked into buying BOA and 511 and just see if it's worth it. See what patents they got going on, how it would complement the Nike products and whatnot. And just for some context, I mean, this is a company that is $500 million. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Nike right now has $9 billion on the balance sheet, and this company is $500 million. So maybe they could pull off a deal here, get BOA and 511. I'm sure this company would be interested in some sort of a deal, because I would imagine they are kind of struggling. I haven't done a deep dive on it, but just looking at the stock price year to date, I'm going to assume that they are struggling. So just work out some sort of a deal. I think it would be interesting. All right, so finally we get to your guys' comments in the previous video. The first one we're going to start with is from Carl. It says, "Hey man, thank you so much for the video. Really enjoy your videos. I am beginning to short Robinhood. I've been selling call spreads above the market for the last month and making good money, but it's a little bit scary because Robinhood could continue up if I can read today." So like I've said before earlier in this video, Robinhood stock price, super resilient. It could easily hit 125. Unfortunately, I do have a 125 strike expiring in December, I want to say. So yeah, Robinhood, it's been a super strong stock this whole year. I mean, it's up over 200% this year. That tells you everything you need to know right there. Then we have Chicken Joe that says, "What a thumbnail." And yeah, I was actually pretty proud of that thumbnail, to be honest. And we have Hugh Boo. I'm just going to call you 4430. He says, "Are you happy with the current holdings in your portfolio? Are there any you would change?" So, of course, you can always look back, especially someone like me that's been in this for like a little over 6 years, I want to say. Definitely looking back, I wish I could change things. But the first one and the simplest one that comes to my mind, and I believe it was also my response to your comment, is American Express. I wish American Express was my number 2 position back when I was buying it, and I was buying it in the 140 range. So yeah, I really wish back when Robinhood was $10, American Express was 140, I would go super heavy into American Express and make that my number 2 position. So Robinhood would be my number 1. American Express is my number 2. Obviously, American Express's performance isn't as good as Robinhood's, but let's be honest, American Express is one of those companies that is like a pillar in people's portfolios. I mean, it's a pillar of Berkshire Hathaway, right? I want to say American Express, Coca-Cola, Apple, those types of companies are pillars of Warren Buffett's portfolio. And I'm just like super impressed with American Express, I always bring them up anytime there's a chance to talk about them. I mean, when it comes to their brand, their image, financially, when it comes to innovation and constantly keeping up with the times. I mean, if anybody knows the history of American Express, you'll know that they've gone through so many different periods, constantly adapting to new trends and always ensuring that their brand is viewed and looked at as a premium brand. And it's also one of those companies that is somehow able to be viewed as both a growth company and also a dividend paying company. Because usually people, for some reason, people just can't seem to look at companies as both. There are literally investors out there that will say, oh, I only invest in growth stocks. I'm not interested in dividend paying stocks. Or whenever one of their growth stocks are doing very well and they're financially very healthy, they'll say, no, I don't want a dividend. No, never pay a dividend, whatever. And I get it if that individual, is in a very high income bracket. So they don't want to pay taxes on those dividends. But like, I never understood that separation. Like, a company can both be a great growth company and a dividend paying company, and American Express is one of them. And of course, leave no evident 128 says, I can't believe Hood is up even though BTC is selling up sharply. I'm holding strong, not going to let a few bucks shake me out. And yeah, just like what I talked about earlier this video, it was very surprising for me to see Robinhood super strong on a day where BTC is weak and the NASDAQ is flat.